There are some additional changes that have been made with SUSE Linux Enterprise 15 that we should mention. The first being that the repository management tool has been added as a replacement for the subscription management or software management tool that has been used in previous versions. We're also going to talk about some other miscellaneous tools or changes that have been made. But specifically with RMT, the repository management tool has replaced that subscription management tool. And the RMT does all of the things the SMT can do, but it has updated support to work with SUSE Linux Enterprise and Red Hat Enterprise Linux servers. It provides a detailed overview of your company's license compliance. And of course, a core function of SUSE Linux repository management tools is the ability to reduce the consumption of bandwidth by providing a download once tool. That's what RMT does, copies to a local system repositories, and then machines update against that instead of contacting our SUSE Customer Center in order to validate installation, etc. This also makes it so that it's easy for an administrator to get a report and to see access or in real time what their compliance level is with various products. Now, you should also know that RMT is available to anyone who has a SUSE Linux Enterprise subscription. So once you have that, you have access to be able to install and use an RMT tool as well. And if you check, there is documentation specifically that teaches you how to install and deploy RMT inside of your environment. Now, there's some other changes that we've made that should be mentioned. In previous versions of SUSE Linux, RiserFS has been supported. In SLE's or SUSE Linux Enterprise 12, support was included for RiserFS if the partition had already been created. This is no longer the case with SUSE Linux Enterprise 15. In 15, RiserFS support has been dropped. Now, this doesn't mean that the kernel no longer supports it. RiserFS is still in there as far as we know, but that doesn't necessarily mean that if you call and you're having problems with your RiserFS environment that will support you in it. Hopefully by now you have moved to something more current and more modern. YAS Partitioner has also been updated as a result of those core changes. With the partitioner no longer supporting floppy drive interaction, which shouldn't be terribly surprising. Floppy support is not something a lot of people are finding in hardware, and so software doesn't necessarily need to be able to have that tool. Now, virtual floppy drives and such you can still interact with, but a floppy hardware has technically been removed. Also, the etc SUSE release file has been, as was flagged for deprecation in SLE200, has been removed in SLE15, and it's been replaced with the etc OS-release to make it more in line with other versions of Linux out there so that there is some consistency across all of them.